All right, welcome back, everyone. This is our match 2 of our Shardbugs TCG Tournament 1K at Mystic Forge. So I'm here with Garrett. I'm Dakota, obviously, and we're going to be going over some of this gameplay like we did for the first match. So if you're tuning in from that match, this is going to be a continuation of the, I believe it's 4 rounds of Swiss. If you're just hopping in, this is a local TCG, Florida-based creator that Team Gravity's been interested in, and there's been a lot of 1K tournaments and a 10K tournament coming up for it. So we'll have the links to the Discord, the Shardbugs Discord and their website in the description, so you can kind of look more into their product. Garrett and I are loving it. But Garrett, would you like to introduce who the players are?
Well, I'd love to introduce who the players are, because on the left here we have our very own Dakota on the Meteor list, and on the right here also on Meteor we have Jason Vargas. So if you're unfamiliar with the game, Meteor's sort of leader or avatar ability is just dealing 3 damage to a creature, to a bug. So these are going to be a very controlling game about getting momentum under you and card advantage. So Dakota, why don't you kick it off here with what you're thinking?
Yeah, so I'm playing the 1/1 because the main thing about Mars is I'm trying to ramp up as much as possible. And I know that there's nothing in the game currently that Mars can do on turn 1 to basically, or I'm sorry, his turn 2. The only thing that he'll be able to do is use Boot, which using Boot on a 1/1 is perfectly fine with me. So I'm basically using this Bloodworm Bishop to ramp up, and then now I'm going to my turn 3. There's not many turn 2 plays in my deck, so I'm probably just going to bring this guy back and pass a turn after that. Just trying to set up for the future. I know this is going to be a grindy matchup. Most Mars lists kind of devolve, as you said, Garrett, into the same controlling matchup. So I mulligan pretty hard. I want to, if I remember correctly, in this match to make sure that I had removal. So I have a good bit of poison gases, a lot of magnifying blasts as well. My opponent is, I would say, probably has you probably agree, the best play is Desert Locust, or the best card. One of the best cards in the set is Desert Locust.
Yes, Desert Locust is not only one of my favorites, but one of the most powerful cards here. Just the way that the mana, the dust system works in the game, where you can bring creatures back, as you did on your turn 2, to turn them into mana or dust producing things in your hive, is really powerful with Desert Locust's aggro ability. So it really gets you ahead. And I if you're a Magic player, one of the ways to look at it is you get to cast Cultivate 4 times in a row.
And it's also just a beater. Like, it's a 2/2 aggro. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, it's a little vulnerable because it is a flyer, which is sort of the most vulnerable trait of the game. But you can just kind of overwhelm that with pure numbers, just like real Desert Locust style.
And I got really lucky on this rip because I ripped a blessing. That kind of decided to kind of hold the blessing. I want to get more of a Desert Locusts going. Since if I remember correctly, I molded 2 of my Desert Locusts and just kept one of them. Because I knew they're basically in my hand because I have one of them. I'm going to go find the other ones.
You're gaining like a quarter or half a card by putting those on the bottom for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested here if you end up deciding to go for the race, or like that, bring your Desert Locust back. Just try to get up to the point where I guess you can outpace your opponent in their playing of threats.
Yeah, I'm feeling very comfortable right now going into more of this mid game. I know I have a blessing. I have a lot of removal. I have a shovel as well. And I'm winning on lands, even though I went second. So I'm kind of, this scares me. It's one of the big bads of Meteor because it's just hard to get rid of. But I have so much removal in my hand that I can just kind of get rid of it. I also just picked up the duplicate version of Blessing. So even if he has a Bring the Doom, I have kind of that safety net to be able to play it. I think my main thoughts going right here is like, how do I play the Desert Locust and play the Blessing? Since Desert Locust does devote for 1, I can kind of get the engine going. And then I'm also deciding, do I really care about this Herculean Guard? Or do I want to go ahead and remove this off the board?
Yeah, for sure. This is only set 1 of the game, at least at the time of this recording. in the time of this tournament. So Mars' effect, being one of the 3 leaders, is incredibly important for deck building. So bugs that natively have 4 toughness are very powerful. Herculean Guard is even better because it has 4 toughness, devotes for 2, and has a very meaningful effect. So Herculean Guard is definitely a one-way in these Mars mirrors where you can overwhelm your opponent by just having a bunch of them. And it looks like you recognize the value of that and decide to get rid of it here.
And it also, one of the, I would say, the better removals in set 1 is Fly Swatter, which it deals with 2 flying creatures, which is something. There's a lot of flying creatures in the Mars Alliance that are good value. Desert Locust being one of them that my opponent played. But Herculean Guard, I want to say, is digging. A digging type.
Yeah,
which
it's
gets
a
rid. Yeah, so it's. I would say Boot or Magnifying Blast is probably one of the only ones that you can use to get rid of Herculean Guard. And that's if it doesn't have like some kind of bottle cap shield or something attached to it that buffs up its toughness.
Yeah, for sure. Real quick, you want to talk about possible differences between these 2 lists? Because we can see a lot of the same elements here. We see some Rampaging Rhinos, we see Desert Locust, obviously. But, looks like on Jason's side, he has 2 cards I don't believe are in your list, at least currently, which are Antonio and I believe it's a Whirligig something.
Yeah,
Whirligig.
Whirligig.
Whirlpool Whirligig.
Yes.
Whirlpool Whirligig. There we go. Got there.
Yeah, so my list is more focused on reactive, not like dealing with what my opponent is doing. Like Tiger Beast is to deal with more of the aggro you'll see on the field. Against Soul, I play it from hand. I'm playing 8 copies or eight versions of the 1/1s that devote for 2, so 3 Bloodborne Bishops and 5 of the Sea Tree Sires, just to kind of have ramp to race against kind of Luna, and then all of the like really I guess later game solutions, Renfaf, Herculean Guard, kind of very reactive my deck. And he seems to be playing more of just kind of a aggro setup with the Antonios and with the Whirlpool Whirligig. I don't like those. It's probably
Whirligig.
Yeah. One thing I don't like, it does devote for 2 and it's a 2-drop that devotes for 2, which is a big missing thing that I have for my deck. I really don't have any 2-drops.
Yeah, it's actually a 3-drop actually.
Oh, it's a 3-drop. Okay.
1 Mars Arm, 1's Meteor. Which is cost.
Yeah, I'm not too sold on the card. Maybe it's just because you've practiced a lot and you love playing Luna. I think Spark Ranger is a huge card in Luna that is easily deal 1 damage. And I mean, I don't think. Yeah, but I wouldn't run Whirlpool just for that reason alone. Also with all the Mars, it's just really easy to get rid of it. I'm more of trying to like stick threats and have them stay on the board as long as possible, so I can kind of outvalue my opponent. Antonio's interesting. I understand why a lot of Mars players be running Antonio, but I think with such the huge devotion symbols that you have for Mars, especially with your inherent power having 3 Mars symbols, it's really hard if you do need like to put a bug in the hive to have one that only does colorless dust. Does that make sense? How I'm explaining?
Yeah, for sure. You are. In Magic terms, you're very pip intensive, and Antonio just doesn't help with that. It does give you a little bit of reach. You can do the 5 drop play of doing 2 for Antonio, 3 to kill your own Antonio to get 2 devotion. Kind of similar to Suke, but I feel like if you want something in that slot, Suke is probably the better option.
Right.
There are some lists, however, that may be running for the cause or bug collection build, in which Antonio is pretty necessary.
Definitely.
But I don't know that your opponent's on that, and if they are, we would see soon, because typically those builds are built on shovels and bug collections, which your opponent is sort of working their way up to with their Desert Locusts. But it doesn't look like what they have so far that would be in the cards for them.
I was looking at my hand at this point. I'm like, what is going on? Because I want to say like 3 poison gases in my hand at this point.
Yeah. Looks like a boot, a magnifying blast, 2 poison gases, and their blessing. You are loaded with removal right now.
Yes, and it's like I really need a Herculean card or something to like stick to the board.
Something to stick, yeah.
So I decided I'm gonna go get another Desert Locust. Why not? Why not look through my
Yeah,
deck?
especially because what did your opponent do with their other mana last turn with other dust? Because it looks like they didn't actually remove the Desert Locust that you'd played.
They did not. No, they played they played 2 Desert Locusts and they moved one down to
I
5.
see. I see, and then you killed the other one. Okay.
Yeah. So, not sure.
Yeah.
One thing I'm also, especially in the Mars versus Mars matchup, I'm very cognizant of is Poison Gas just being a great card. So I was trying to also keep out I was trying to keep up three mana for most of his game, and that's why I was very hesitant to kind of tap out because there wasn't much I can do. But at this point, I didn't think there was anything too scary that my opponent could have done that would have won them a game or got them super far ahead. I mean, Fly Swatter. Yeah, there's the Bring the Doom against my blessing. I mean, Fly Swatter, I was kind of like baiting here to see like play out as much removal as possible because I know I'm going to get a Rinfath out. And I think he decided to bolt. I want to say, yeah, he bolted my one of my Desert Locusts.
Yeah, the interesting to play the decision a couple turns ago to play the second Desert Locust is pretty interesting because I don't know what your opponent's hand looks like, but this blessing is pretty scary as they sort of recognize by playing the Bring the Doom. But you can sort of negate the ability of a blessing or force your opponent to maybe overextend a little bit by just killing all the things that would devote.
Right. And I kept asking a lot during this match because my opponent, I don't know if my opponent runs blessings. I assume so. But I kept asking, like, how many cards do you have in your hand? How many cards in your hand? Because eventually I think that's what took this match so long. Mars versus Mars obviously is control versus control, but I kept saying, kept thinking to myself, okay, I'm gonna keep exhausting them until they just run out of resources, and I can win with like one of my long late game threats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So right here, like I was saying, it'd be interesting to see the priority of Desert Locust. We are reaching a point where you just have the dust every turn to do the Mars ability, right?
Right.
Interesting. Playing out the Whirligig. We're gonna see. Okay, so it looks like he's committing to the board instead of getting your Desert Locust here. Interesting play.
And I decided, yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of that Rhino.
Yep. Seems pretty free. Oh, that's not the rule set right now. He should have 3 devotion.
Oh, they haven't changed that yet, have they?
No, they have not. That goes live with set 2.
Oh well.
But yeah, that turn cycle was very good for you. Just having the removal for the Rampaging Rhino, and then just basically like almost for free, 1 for 2ing your opponent of they went down a land and a spell and a card in their hand, and you're gonna end up with just continuing to hit this blessing, continuing to go. Looks like you might be out of Desert Locust, but
yeah, I was saying
still.
just shuffle, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel very, very good at this point in the game. I keep looking at my opponent's hive bugs, and I'm not seeing many threats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only thing that would be super scary to you would be the second one of this Rhino. You're able to keep your opponent's devotion down because they don't have any blockers.
Right.
So you're not really scared of them racing right now because they really don't have any foundation for that. And you're not really scared of their card advantage because you've been activating your blessing for so many turns in a row.
Correct. And I kind of did fall into that Fly Swatter, but I'm okay just getting rid of 2 of my little guys, especially with blessing out. I am a big advocate of hard mulliganing in a Mars versus Mars matchup to get your blessing, or like one of your like really good cards like Desert Locust or Herculean Guard. It kind of just breaks the mirror, I would say, And now, like, I'm just like trying to think, do I want to play this Mabu out? I think that's how you pronounce it. It's Mabu, correct, Garrett?
I think it's Mabua, Mabua.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's actually how you pronounce it, but it is. I think it is Mabua.
And I was like, I think I'm just going to play out Shovel and just kind of set up a turn so I can play Renfaf and have a bunch of blockers up already.
Yeah, it's true. So Shovel here is a really interesting card for this game. It's this 7-drop action card that you have to choose either to make 6/1/1s, make 3 2/2s, or make 2 3/3s. So you're always getting 6 attack and defense total, but spread across bodies. And what makes it really interesting here is that Acid Rain is a 4-drop that deals 1 to each bug.
Yeah, I think we're about to see it.
So you kind of have to make a decision. Yeah, I'm kind of leading up to that. But you do kind of have to make a decision whether your opponent has it or not to play into that. There are other things like Spark Ranger and other Mars abilities that can sort of whittle it down. But for this position, honestly, I don't hate, even if your opponent does have the Acid Rain, like it looks like it happens now, to go for the 6/1/1s, because the 2/2s and the 3/3s are just going to be more vulnerable to the Mars ability, and you might not even get the Acid Rain out of their hand.
Right. And I want to ask you, do you agree with this play that I make at the end of his turn of, I want to say I'd poison Gassy Antonio out for the Whirlpool, I want to say, the Whirlpool? Because I'm thinking at this point, like, I'm going to keep destroying lands, but I want to not let him get any value off of this. And him having a colorless dust creator in his hive is just beneficial for me, especially with a low land count or a hive count that he has right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It does sort of, out on the surface, I feel like seem like a little bit of a waste of a card, but I don't know. It certainly is like a fine play of being able to get ahead. I think your draw here of the Venomous Fangs is really interesting, because it does mean that if you had waited, you would have been able to play out maybe a Rhino and then give it the Venomous Fangs and just get rid of the Antonio for free, or you could have just Marsed it.
That's true.
So, I don't know. In this Mars mirror, I do find that it's very important to be able to just have the interaction for the bigger pieces, right? Mm-hmm. So, often these mirrors come down to who has the last say, who has the last piece of interaction for a 4 toughness thing, or who is able to sort of get under it with maybe some of the 1-drops and some of the more fast-acting cards, or like maybe just keeping a bunch of Desert Locusts around. So right here, it just feels like you're in the stage of the game where you and your opponent, as you can see here, Jason's gonna basically get rid of your 7 dust play to be able to very efficiently deal with the Tiger Beast. And if people don't know, the Poison Gas is one of the bugs in play and one of the bugs in the hive swap places. So you put your Rinfaf back in the hive to bring the Tiger Beast out. It natively has 3 defense, and then just blew it up.
And I think I do remember like sequencing pretty easily, or I do finally remember my sequencing and decided to use the Blessing first before I decide to make any plays, and then I rip a Rinfaf off the top.
Yeah, that's huge.
My thoughts are he used a Poison Gas to deal with my Rinfaf, so he doesn't have any removal for it. This is an incorrect thought, but just my inside my head in this play, I'm like trying to figure out what exactly to do.
I don't know. I'm not sure. That'd be a deeper thought to have of, is it better to kill the Rinfaf or is it better to Poison Gas it? Knowing that you have both the Poison Gas and the removal, it might be legitimately better to do the Poison Gas, because you get rid of something in your hive, especially if there's something really scary in the hive, like if he was a very item dependent build, you could get rid of your Rose Duelist. But I'm not sure. Maybe your thought is right, that it's more likely that he doesn't have the removal or not, but
I really like getting rid of the Rinfafs in this matchup, because there's only 2 of them since they're cosmic rares.
Yeah.
and you are going to see I'm going to pull out his Renfath.
Yeah, for sure.
Go ahead and blow that up.
I don't know.
It's a very scary card in my mind.
It is a very scary card, but in this board state, it's kind of interesting that you're not really scared about the aggro and sort of the big play potential of Renfath. So maybe it's better to bring out like a Desert Locust, or even to accept the damage from the Tiger Beast, though that is kind of like losing 4 cards at this sort of board state. But
right.
Like it could be more beneficial for you later in the game for him to spend his entire turn to go for the Renfath, to only get a few devotion, and then for you to just immediately kill it, play an aggro thing, and knock him back down immediately.
Right. Maybe. Yeah. It's a lot. I think it's a very situational.
Yeah, definitely very situational here. It's interesting to me that Jason here chose to put the Herculean guard. Oh, it looks like he's playing it out now.
Right.
It is pretty free in this game to be able to put a bog in your hive and then to play it out next turn. Because it is, as long as you're not trying to put it in your hive and then play it out the same turn, it is kind of a very similar play, or basically a free play. In case you draw something, you can go for the 5 mana play, or you can just play out your Herculean guard if you decide that's still the best thing to do.
Right. Yeah, I think
it looks like here you're slowly pulling ahead here for sure.
Yeah, and I kept poison gassing just kind of to be as annoying as possible. So my opponent just keep kind of destroying as many of those lands as I can. I don't think I had a way to deal with Herculean guard off rip, so I decided just to poison gas it to at least buy me a turn to kind of look through with my devotion, draw more cards, and I can at least get rid of that Tiger Beast. Just kind of keep.
I think. Yeah, you might have had an interesting line here. I mean, the line you did take is very good. I like the Renfath here. But you could have let him kept the Herculean guard and then Acid Rained and Mars'd the Herculean guard for 7 and then still kept up another poison gas.
That's true. I want to save his...
But
go ahead.
You might want to keep it. At this stage of the game, it would be pretty hard for him to have enough of the 1-drops for it to really matter. But at some point, I think you should, like, it can be a real consideration to turn your Acid Rain into just a very expensive removal spell for these 4 defense bugs.
Right. I was scared of Shovel for a lot of his matchup. I didn't know if my opponent was running it or not. And I'm only running 1 Acid Rain, so I guess that's why you see me kind of hold on to it a lot more. Because that thought did cross my mind. Oh, okay, one of his 4 toughnesses, I can just Acid Rain him and bolt it. I was just worried that immediately he will be, like, I feel pretty ahead right now. If a Shovel were to hit the board, I don't know. I feel like my chances of winning go down pretty heavily.
I don't actually know, because I feel like you're definitely scared of the Shovel bug collection play, of being able to, like, recoup the hand and get really ahead, but this game, it really isn't going to end anytime soon. Well, we might be shaping up to sort of the ending of the game here, but you don't really have a ton of devotion, especially after that Tiger Beast, so you're going to work through those 1/1s eventually, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's just every turn killing a thing. Though that might be enough time for your opponent to get back in, it's certainly not certain one way or the other.
Maybe you are right. To go ahead and just use that Acid Rain. It may have just been me playing too conservatively, especially with being definitely being ahead at this point in the game. And yeah, you're gonna see me. Yeah, I'm bringing out Rolls Duelist because I know that I have my Venomous Fangs in hand, so I want to go ahead and just deal with that. And I cannot find any Herculean guards. I think, yeah, this is when I just ripped off the top. Yep.
Get that. Yeah, it is kind of unfortunate that unless you're going into like the banana bastions, you really don't have anything in Mars that is like 5 toughness, because a lot of the stuff that you're looking at using, like getting into with your venomous fangs, is going to be like 3 or 4 attack.
Right.
So your Herculean Guard here is a little bit awkward, because you either kind of need to trade it with a Mars and the focus ability, or just have it as a devotion, and your venomous fangs just really doesn't do as much here.
Yeah. Definitely agree. I think at that point I was confused on if I had played a Bug to My Hive yet. So I was asking, like, does it look like I played a Bug to My Hive? And I was like, I cannot remember all the desert locusts is coming down and me moving.
Yeah, it gets really hard to track.
Yeah, I need to like have a coin or something that I flip when I played a Bug to My Hive, just so I can remember some kind of indicator.
There's 5 on a play here. Another boot here, yeah.
Yeah, my opponent said, I'm just going to keep these tapped and shoot you the boot. Get rid of that thing. I think I smugly said, like, oh, are you getting rid of the Rhino or the Guard? Which one would you like to get rid of? Definitely the Guard is the right choice here.
Yeah, I mean, your hand is still... You definitely drawn a lot of cards with your Blessing, and a lot of those have been removal spells, so even though you don't really have anything out, your hand is full of removal, so it'll be really hard for your opponent here, like with them drawing on the bugs in their hive, to really pull ahead.
Right. And I'm thinking, do I just want to keep using this Rampaging Rhino just to get 1 every turn? Do I need to stop drawing cards? Do I want to play Mr. Will, even though I know it's probably going to get blown up, just to kind of get that discount value going of bringing some stuff out, and then also playing like a Rhino? Yeah, so I think I decided just, okay, 2 Rhinos is better than 1. He doesn't have a way to deal with this Rhino, because I think it was down to a couple cards in hand or 1 card in hand. So I was like, let me just keep removal up, just keep gaining 2 devotion every turn, and eventually we'll get there.
Yeah, you're a little open to fly swatter here, but it might be late enough in the game that you just have to accept that loss, especially because, you know, your other option is to really not do anything.
Right. And
yes, she goes. Yeah.
Smell blood in the water with this Antonio play. Like, my opponent's just trying to draw more cards. Maybe an interesting play would be to bolt your own Antonio at this point.
Yeah, it might be to just be able to effectively cycle it, right? But definitely the power of Antonio is to sort of be the magnet or the blocker in this sort of matchup. But your opponent, he really isn't incentivizing you at all. Jason isn't incentivizing you to like get in, right? He doesn't have any devotion. There's really no reason for you to go to combat against him. So he's gonna have to. You're either gonna have to kill his Antonio, or he's gonna have to do it himself.
Right.
And Antonio being the 0 devotion thing, you know.
I think I decided to do the philosophy of Scorched Earth and just keep blowing everything up on my opponent's side of the board.
I mean, it certainly is working well for you. You eventually just run your opponent out of resources either way.
Yeah. And at this point, I think I'm trying to figure out how to drop a Mabu or pull up a Mabu, and he did have the Bring the Doom for my blessing, but at this I feel like it's done so much damage that it's
and you got a 3rd blessing in your hand at this point.
Yeah. We're gonna see.
Yeah.
Rhino. Oh, Amazonian Giant. What are your thoughts on this card?
It's interesting for sure. So, for those who don't know, there's actually a ruling change about this card. I don't know if it's gone into effect yet, or I believe it has already gone into effect yet at this point.
Yeah.
But this card used to be able to block 2 bugs and deal full damage to both of them.
Yeah.
So, in that way, it was a really powerful way to just wall up, because even if it ended up taking its entire defense or more in a single turn, it didn't really matter because it could 2-for-1 your opponent. It was card positive. But here, you're kind of able to just trade off with it and turn your Tiger Beast into a removal spell.
Yep.
And it's interesting. I think you have a Blessing in your hand, and I don't think you choose to play it out.
I wanted to keep up Fly Swatter or just have removal, and I didn't want to... I was at 9 devotion at this point, so I wanted to prioritize removal for whatever my opponent might bring out to try to knock down my devotion, to just keep ramping up. I was trying to end the game at this point, because I was also going to bring up a Suke or something to the... I decided just to do a 1-for-1 Fly Swatter with this Rampaging Rhino.
Yeah, at this point in the game, your opponent can't play more than one bug from your hive in a turn, so you have to play 2 flyers in a turn for you to really get full value off of it. So, might be better just use a specific removal when it's applicable, even if you're not getting full value for sure.
Definitely. One thing I am noticing about my gameplays, I fidget a lot. Like, I'm always moving my hands. It's like I'm a magician or something, just trying to like keep you
keep you distracted. Over here now. Yeah.
Oh, don't look over here. Don't see my open mana.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I definitely like the play at this point of not playing with the Blessing. Because at this point, like, Mars Mirrors sometimes are ended by Clifford decks out. And At this point, you've got enough devotion on your field. You've kind of proven that your opponent doesn't have a Fly Swatter because your Rhinos have been able to stick around for so long. So I think you are pretty confident that in just trying to close out the game here.
Yeah, especially with... And I prioritize playing 2... I always try to play 2 things that can be blown up by Mars instead of just 1, so it just gives them value. So that's why I made sure to play the Sea Tree Sire and the Suke, so that if he blows up 1, I'm still for sure keeping 1 on the board unless he has more removal. I think he decides to bring out my Rose Duelist.
It's an interesting play here because it doesn't actually advantage him too much. Maybe if he plays, Tiger Beast, but you still have the ability to respond to this here. And he put you down on some devotion, but
I'm still...
It is slowly slipping away here for sure.
Yeah, there's the shovel as well. So I can just add 5 devotion and shovel.
Yeah, shovel is a great defensive card because it just gives you chump blockers for days. It is quite dust intensive here, so I don't know if you actually choose to do it because it would be basically your entire play. So,
I think I do decide to do it just to... I want to bring out the promos, man. The promo ant token. Show them
fancy. Gotta get the fancies going,
yeah. I want more shiny on my board. And I think I'm adding like 5 devotion, like going up to 16. I don't know.
Nope. You missed a devotion.
I think shout out to my opponent. Shout out to Jason. He calls it out. Says, "Oh, it's supposed to have 16," and he like does my math for me. Because I'm a stupid player. I'm just here to blow stuff up. And I'm not doing the numbers. I'm just whatever. 4 is fine.
Mars players stick together.
Mars players stick together, even when we're going against each other. Now, if this was like a dirty Luna player or something, no, they would be trying to say.
We're gonna be seeing a whole lot of dirty Luna players in the following rounds here.
We're gonna see the king of the dirty Luna players soon. At this point, it's just I think it's GG's. My opponent says, I'm gonna make you lose 1 devotion, and I can't do anything else. So here's the GG's. What are any more thoughts on that match, Garrett?
No, I mean, I think it just proves the value of devotion here, and maybe a little bit of variance that your opponent couldn't get one out, or maybe they're not playing one, but the devotion was definitely a key piece there. Even if your opponent had spent the entire time just blowing up your Desert Locust and trying to deny you resources, you eventually reach a game state where you draw 1 here, you draw 1 there, and eventually you get a 4 toughness thing down, and your opponent runs out of removal, and you're off to the races. And I think we saw that play out here.
Definitely. So stay tuned for the next video in our series. It's going to be match 3. This one, I want to say, is going to be more personal to both me and Garrett, since it's a grudge match at this point. So next video should be showing up, and we'll see you then. Bye guys.